If your job or your company's success relies on its website, you're going to want to watch this. Hi, I'm Kevin Goldberg, CEO and founder of Imagistic IS2 Digital. We architect and build custom software solutions for businesses like yours to boost profitability, streamline operations, and enhance your brand online. So let me set the stage. Approximately 250,000 websites are created every day. And if we assume only 1% of those are business websites, that means nearly 1 million business websites are launched every year. So today I'm going to explain how to make sure your website is well designed, effective, and not just overlooked as another one of the million. What is the single most important task in the website design process? In my experience, the most important task in the website design process is identifying the user. Now, typically, you'll have more than one user type that's coming to your site, and it's important to identify them all. As well, you want to identify what it is that you, as an owner, want them to accomplish when they get there. So marrying their goals and intentions in coming to your site with your goals and intentions of having them come to your site. Once you've identified each user, why they're coming to your site, and what you want them to accomplish when they get there, you can then start designing the ideal path for them within your website. This is often referred to as creating user stories. And again, your website will likely have multiple users with multiple purposes. Therefore, you're going to be creating multiple user stories. And that, to me, is one of the most important parts of the website design process. Additionally, let me point out that just because you've created the user stories and paths for each user doesn't mean that it's going to work. It's not enough to just identify your users and design for them. You need to review what they're doing. Are they going to the landing pages? Are they clicking on the buttons? Are they taking the actions that you want them to take? Review the analytics and then revise your website. And this is how you can create a very effective website. If our resources and budget are limited, what are the top priorities a business should focus on to create an effective website? In my experience, the top priority when designing a website should be that it looks good. Simply. If it doesn't look good, it's not going to be as effective as a website that does look good. And I've known this for my entire career, but I did just read a book by Daniel Kahneman called Thinking Fast and Slow. And in the book, he talks about a bias called the halo effect. The halo effect is a bias which occurs when the perception of one attribute has undue influence on the perception of other attributes. For example, if your website looks good to somebody, they will unconsciously think that you're competent, reliable, and trustworthy just because of how the website looked. And conversely, what we find is that when a website doesn't look good, even if it works well, people won't want to use it, and that could be millions of dollars in revenue. So simply by having a good-looking website, you're improving your users' experience and their experience of your brand. If your site looks good, it will intrinsically be an effective website. Can a single website really be designed to meet the needs of multiple audiences? Well, the answer is, of course, yes. We see it all the time where a single website will meet the needs of multiple audiences. But what's interesting is that you do find brands that have chosen to create sub-sites targeting different audiences. For example, in staffing, it could be client and talent. In the healthcare industry, it could be doctors and patients. In robotics, it could be the investor community and the research community. There's no right and wrong, and certainly you can find ample research online that supports one versus the other and vice versa. So let me give you some pros and cons that you could consider when trying to make this decision for your own website. The pros of having a single website are that you have a unified brand message and all of your content is in one place. So if, for example, a user gets lost going down a particular path, they're still on your only website and can find their way back to the content that they're looking for. On the other hand, having a single website does make it difficult to create targeted content for different audiences. And so, on the flip side, creating subsites for different audiences allows you to create different messaging, different calls to action, and different user paths based on the audience. However, having different subsites targeting the different audiences does make it difficult for the content management team or the marketing team to manage the content and to unify the brand message across the subsites. What is the rule of 7 and how does it apply to a website? The rule of 7 references a paper written by George Miller in 1956. Miller's research showed that human beings can only retain 7 items in their short-term memory, plus or minus 2. So in terms of website design, you want to make sure that, based on the rule of 7, your top navigation only contains 7 items, plus or minus 2. Miller's research went on to show that humans will group items within these larger categories. So for example, if you have 7 items in your top nav, and then you click, for example, on services, and it opens up to a larger set, humans will group that larger set under the services group, allowing you to have many more items accessible from your top nav and still maintain the logic of rule of 7. Additionally, if we look at large sites such as newspapers or even Amazon, what you'll find is that designers are creating subgroups by using color bands. So you can have your top navigation in one band, and above the top navigation in a super navigation bar in a slightly different color can be your search or your account or your logout. And this is also effective, and humans can consume this additional level of subgrouping. What's a common mistake that clients make during the web design process? The most common mistake I've seen in the website design process is having too large of a stakeholder group. The problem with this is that getting to decisions takes a long time. And of course, if you have unlimited time and unlimited budget, that's fine, but most clients don't have unlimited time and unlimited budget. When you have a large stakeholder group, making decisions is difficult because in the web design process, there isn't necessarily one right answer. Many answers are subjective. And if we have 5 different people with 5 different opinions, how are decisions going to be made when you have a large stakeholder group like that? Additionally, I recommend that you document all decisions that are being made. A good project manager, of course, will do this, but if it's not done, what you end up with is faulty memory trying to figure out what was decided 2 months prior. And again, that's going to impact your time and your budget. So let me get to the point. We all know how to use a website, but just because we know how to use something doesn't mean we know how to build it. There are a lot of best practices and nuances in building a website, and hopefully this video has given you a lot of insight into how to do that well. That said, if you are looking for a firm to build your website for you, feel free to reach out to us. IS2 is well recognized for taking your expertise and funneling it through our process to build a well thought out and well-designed website. IS2 Digital helps business executives solve problems with software. If we can help improve or automate any of the behind-the-scenes processes that run your business, please reach out. You can reach us at is2digital.com/to-the-point. And subscribe if you found this information helpful and you'd like to be alerted when I release new content.